I found an old doll in my grandmother's house and played one stupid game with it as a joke. By the next morning, it was sitting outside my bedroom door. I'm Nicole, and this is Haunted Threads After Dark, where I read you creepy, scary, paranormal stories. If that's your thing, then go ahead and turn the volume up, turn the lights down, but whatever you do, don't look behind you. So, I know how we all feel, including myself, about paranormal, scary dolls. And I came across another one, and this one's creepy, so I had to read it, you know how it is. This happened about 3 years ago when my grandmother moved into assisted living. My mom and I were cleaning out her house so we could get it ready to sell. One afternoon, I was going through a closet in one of the spare bedrooms and found an old doll inside a cardboard box. She was maybe 18 inches tall, cloth body, plastic hands and feet, brown yarn hair. One of her eyes didn't open all the way. Of course it didn't. Why would it? There was a little tag sewn into her dress that said Maggie. I sent a picture to my younger sister because she has always hated dolls. Smart girl. She immediately texted back, "Nope." Then she joked that I should hide it somewhere and see if it moved. So I decided to mess with her. I hid Maggie behind the shower curtain upstairs, took a picture, and sent it to her. Then I told her I was going downstairs and giving Maggie a chance to find me. There wasn't a ritual or anything like that. I was just screwing around. I left Maggie sitting on the bathroom counter and went downstairs. A couple minutes later, I heard something fall upstairs. I went back up. Maggie was in the bathtub. I first thought she'd fallen off the counter, but there was a decent amount of space between the counter and the tub. Still, I figured the house was old. Maybe the floor wasn't level. I put Maggie back in the box and shoved it into the closet. That night, I woke up because the TV was on in the living room. I knew I'd shut it off before bed. When I walked in, the TV was showing nothing but static, and Maggie was sitting on the floor in front of it. That scared me. Yeah, that would scare me too. I went upstairs and checked the closet. The box was still there. The lid was on the floor. I called my sister because I thought maybe she'd come over and was messing with me. She hadn't. I took Maggie out to the garage. I put her on a shelf and locked the door leading back into the house. The next morning, Maggie was sitting at the bottom of my stairs. Nobody else was in the house. The garage door was still locked. I called my mom and asked if she'd stop by during the night. She said no. Then she asked why. I told her about Maggie. She got really quiet. Then she asked exactly where I'd found her. I told her the upstairs closet. She said, "Put her back." I asked why. That's when she told me Maggie had belonged to her older sister. My aunt died when she was 8, years before I was born. Apparently, Maggie had been her favorite doll. Then my mom asked what I'd been doing with it. I told her about the hide-and-seek joke. She got mad. She said, "Why would you do that?" I told her because it's a doll. Then she said something that shut me up. My aunt used to do the same thing. She would hide Maggie somewhere, leave the room, and come back later to see if Maggie had moved. My aunt used to swear the doll would sometimes be somewhere else. My parents assumed one of the kids was moving it. My mom said that she never did. I asked if she thought the doll was haunted. She said, "Put it back." So I did. I put Maggie in the box, shoved it into the back of the closet, and closed the door. Nothing happened for the rest of the day. Yeah, because it's daylight. She only does it at nighttime when it's scary. That night, I was lying in bed when I heard something upstairs. It sounded like a kid running across the floor, bare feet, a few quick steps across the hallway. Then something started coming down the stairs. Not walking, more like something small being dropped from one step to the next. Thump, pause, thump, pause. I locked my bedroom door. Yeah, I would too. The noise stopped right outside. Then something lightly scratched the bottom of the door. I didn't move. I stayed awake until morning. When I finally opened the door, Maggie was sitting right outside my bedroom, facing the door. That was enough for me. I grabbed her, put her in a trash bag, and drove straight to my mom's house. My mom wouldn't even let me bring the doll inside. She came onto the porch, saw what I had, and said, "Oh my gosh." Then she told me something she'd never mentioned before. After my aunt died, my grandmother tried to get rid of Maggie. The first time, she donated her. A few weeks later, my grandfather found Maggie sitting in the garage. Nobody knew how she'd gotten back. A couple years later, my grandmother threw Maggie away. My mom remembered seeing her in the trash herself. A few days later, Maggie was back in my aunt's bedroom. After that, my grandmother stopped trying. She put Maggie in the closet. And that's where she stayed. My mom and I ended up putting the doll inside a plastic storage bin in her shed. Neither of us wanted to donate her again. For a while, that was the end of it. Then, last year, my sister came over to my apartment with her 4-year-old daughter. We were talking in the kitchen when my niece wandered down the hallway toward my bedroom. A minute later, she came back carrying a doll. Brown yarn hair, plastic hands and feet, one eye that didn't open all the way. Maggie. My sister thought I'd brought her home as a joke. I hadn't. I called my mom. She went out to the shed and checked the storage bin. It was empty. While we were arguing about how Maggie could possibly be in my apartment, my niece sat down on the floor with her. Then she looked up at me and said, "Maggie wants me to hide now." I asked her who told her the doll's name. She pointed at Maggie and said she did. Well, there you go. Another scary paranormal doll story in the books. What did you guys think of that one? It was pretty scary. I think all doll stories are scary though. So anyway, let me know in the comments what you thought of that. Let me know if you liked it. If you like stories like this, please follow me here on Haunted Threads After Dark and leave me a comment and leave me a heart and bookmark the story so you can listen to it again. If you have a story of your own that you'd like me to read, go ahead and go to hauntedthreadsafterdark.com and submit a story there. You can go ahead, the link's in my bio, just push the link button and you'll be there. So I do want to know what you thought. Let me know in the comments. And until tomorrow, when I bring you more nightmares, sleep tight if you can. Bye.